I got this feeling inside my bones.
Well, we decided to do questions and answers today between our scenes, as you can see, but it's my
Mary
favorite.
Beth's birthday.
On my birthday. So we're going to sit here in Stephen's room. Look at me. I'm like, oh, look at my pajamas. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here is the very first question. Anyway, before we start, thank you, everybody, for sending these, because it's so much fun for us. Because we can't come up with them. We don't know. You guys know. We don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Happy birthday, Mary Beth.
Thank you very much. I can't think of a better place to be on my birthday.
Really?
I love you guys. Is it really? No. Don't you think?
You guys?
Okay,
You mean
the
me?
the whole group. You in particular, of course, but the whole group. Because, as I said, I think that this makes us have a complete life.
Complete life.
Sorry, I just ate a hard-boiled egg. It got
She
stuck
just
in my
ate-
throat.
She ate my hard-boiled egg.
I came in here starving. No, but it gives us such a complete life, having this little job and these friends and everything. Okay, so here's the question. You two seem to be in tune with each other. Has it always been that way? Were you guys instant friends when you first met? Or did it take time for the two of you to warm up to each other?
I know my answer.
I know my answer. Yes.
Yes, we were
Yes.
instant friends, and
Instant
I don't
friends.
know how that happened or why.
I don't
It
either.
was just a blessed event meeting Mary Beth, and especially having her as my acting partner, because I swear I would not have survived this long without her. That is the honest to God truth.
You know, but I think in the very beginning, they had paired us up from the very, very first day I ever started, and we were just lucky to have the same sort of work ethic and like working together. Plus, he's a lover.
Right on.
I've said that before. He's a lover. Okay, here, let me read one of the ones you have circled. Okay, let me see. You and Stephen have such
I think we just answered that.
natural
Don't-
chemistry.
don't go
Okay,
with
okay, I'll go with the next one. Looking back over the past 31 years, I think it's 32 for me in May. Eek.
Yeah.
Cute. Honestly, I've said this before, but I think that
86,
we
right?
should be in the Guinness Book of Records for Hollywood, because he's been married 33 years. I've been married 32, and we on the show have been married like 32-ish, right? Or 30? No, 31. How many years have we been married on the show?
On the show, we married in 88.
Oh, so it's 30 years.
30 years.
Cute. Anyway, that's a record in Hollywood time. Anyway, looking back on over the past 31 years of your friendship, what are some of your favorite memories of each?
Of each other, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You can just pick two.
I think the favorite memories that I have of Mary Beth when we were working together were in the 80s when she was pregnant.
Which was all the time.
She was pregnant almost all
Really?
the time in the 80s.
I had 2 kids in 6 years. That's,
Yeah.
it's pretty weird.
And going over to see little Danny, I had a cold, so I got a hold of a surgical mask and showed up at the door with
know
this
what?
mask on.
I was going to say,
Seeing her first baby.
Yeah. I was going to say that was my favorite memory too.
I think I held him too.
You did. I remember vividly you sitting on the floor of my den with your doctor mask on, and just like, and I have to say, you wonder why people become friends or what touches your heart. But his way with children and his love for people like that, I just thought, oh my God, what a pussycat, what a sweetie pie. And also with my second child, I had what they call placenta previa, and I had some issues, and he took me from work to the doctor. And then the doctor said, I'm sorry, you need to go bed rest. I'm like, bed rest? I'm not continuing drama. I can't go bed rest. But you were so sweet during that time. Or like so many times when I was pregnant, like we were in a cabin or something in the very beginning, and you were supposed to take me down to the bed, all romantic, we're all romantic. I have a half slip on that somebody would wear as a floor length half slip, and they had it like up here.
Up here.
And so and the director was like, okay, so then you take off your coat, and then you're nude. I was like 8 months pregnant, huge.
That
so I
was
had to
Joe
stay.
Behar,
Yeah,
right?
Joe Behar.
Nude.
And I would stand there all like sexy, and then he took me down the bed and all the way as far as he could till he had to go
Pictures
to the side.
and audio facilities, please.
Anyway, good times, good times. We had really good times. You know, don't you think?
Yeah.
About all these details.
Where were we?
I'm talking about our favorite things about each other, favorite times. So those, I would say, a lot of them minored with the baby situation, and you know, we've had. I have to say, Stephen makes me laugh. You make me laugh. We laugh at each other, but not. I mean, we laugh at don't
ridiculous
know.
things.
Yeah, nothingness.
Things that wouldn't make anyone else
No.
laugh. She and I
Understand
just
that.
suddenly
Yeah.
relate to and understand and just crack each other up.
Mhm.
I'm the same way with my wife.
Mhm.
She and I laugh like that
Mhm.
about just the silliest, most
I know.
ridiculous stuff, but we're just so on the same
Right.
wavelength.
Right.
It's
the
funny
cutest.
to us.
It's so sweet. Anyway, there are a million, but those are the first that come to our heads. And it's funny, it's the same memory.
Oh, I was going to say, these memories of the past, I mean, look, we're talking 30-some years now, and I don't remember, but what helps are the clips that people put up.
The Patch and Kayla
Those clips,
Instagram,
and I look at-
I send them to him all the time.
Sometimes I look at them and I don't remember doing the scene,
I generally don't.
ever learning the scene,
Right.
what it was about.
I'm like that about
And other
yesterday.
times it really sparks deep, strong
Right.
memories.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I just love that.
Right. And when people say, "What's your favorite show?" I always think like, I have no idea. You know, you
It's a
memorize,
lot
you
of
memorize, you
episodes.
get out here, and as Dietrich once said, we're fighting for our life out here. And that's kind of true. Like, you're just trying to get through it, and remembering everything, and it's so fast paced that
Now
you
it's
don't even
worse.
remember when you walk
Yeah.
away.
It's so fast now that
Mhm.
it's a blur.
Mhm.
It really is a blur. You
But
just
we-
have to stay focused and do the best you can
Right.
do.
But we were in a lot of peril back then.
That's
It
right.
was always something, some collapsed building thing, the
Yeah,
water thing.
Yeah.
It was always something on the run with the chickens in the
Yes.
barn and handcuffed to each
Chickens
other.
in the barn.
You know, ever since then, I moved somewhere once where somebody had a chicken coop, and I made a big issue about them removing the chickens before I moved there. Where now I think it's kind of fun to have the chickens, but at the time, because I was so grossed out from holding that little chicken, because you could feel all the little bones and their feathers and everything. I was just like, "Ugh, I'm sorry, little chicken," but anyway,
we
so
didn't eat it.
we don't. And it was humane, and they took them back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
sure.
wherever they
Sure
the
it
chickens. What's the most meaningful thing you've learned from each other?
Well, I know the answer to that. The most meaningful thing I've learned from Mary Beth is to be positive. And
I was born that way. I was lucky.
she was born that way, but you know it rubs off on me, and that's one of the reasons I love working with her, because I tend to be the exact polar opposite of that. It's just, you know, this dark cloud around me all the time. And
I
when
know,
I'm
a
with
lot of
Mary
people like
Beth, I can't do it because she doesn't really allow it. She doesn't even have to say anything. It's just her personality cheers me up, and it's better to be cheerful. And you know, I've learned that from Mary Beth, so I really try to practice it.
What have I learned from you? It's not such an easy. It's not so
Not
easy.
a whole lot.
I think maybe part of our work ethic. I really learned that from you too, and then we team work on that and always work things to death, and I learned a lot of English from him because
Not being distracted too.
no, that hasn't rubbed off. That hasn't rubbed off.
No, not at all.
No, but what is it I just said that you taught me was the English language.
The English language.
Because I learned something, and maybe I just sort of glance sometimes, and that I am reciting what I remember, and he's always like correcting my English because I don't have it right, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, some people might think that he's being mean but I totally flow with it because I'm like, you're right. Okay, yeah, okay, I didn't get that.
You
Or
insert words that don't belong.
like an "an"
You
instead of
change.
"an."
Well,
Plus, I have this sort of,
that's
I have this Orange County accent
the
that is
Orange County.
I for E, which everybody makes fun of me about.
mostly
Get on
me.
that 10 to the 10 to the 110. My sister-in-law.
When I make fun of her for that, she says, Michael never does that.
No,
to
my
me."
husband does not. He does not correct me. I mean, although one time I left a note for the trash guy and I wrote B-E-N because it was a big container thing.
B-E-N, the
B-E,
bin.
verbid.
The
And
bin,
he was just
get
like,
the bin.
so what he doesn't get is why I switched them. That makes him crazy. That I put an E for an I, an I for instead of just, if it was just all I's, you know what I mean? In fact, I love working with Ken Schreiner because his name actually is K-I-N.
Perfect.
It's
Don't have
perfect.
to say kin for Ken.
Right, right.
It's kin for Ken.
It was right. Oh my God, it was
it's like
liberating.
tit for tat.
It was
No,
liberating.
it's not like tit for tat.
It's not. You have to have the same thing. Okay, let me see. Stephen, would you ever want to direct Mary Beth in one of your films? Mm-mm. Mary Beth, would you
Why
want to be
not?
in one? Mm-mm.
Why?
I like our relationship better like this. That's it. You didn't. Where's the rest of the questions?
You go like this, honey.
Oh, oh,
You have to turn it.
oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
this is
technology.
ridiculous.
He's all into
Go this
technology.
way and then
Oh,
it's bigger.
okay. Oh, from Kate Mancy. How cute.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. I love her. I love her, and I miss her. She's just awesome.
She obviously
awesome.
misses you too.
Oh, let me see what she says. From Kate Mancy, how has being in your show relationship enlightened your love partnership in real life? I think what not just necessarily from us, but what they write, and that you have to think about it in a relationship, and I think it broadens your scope on concepts. I
About
think
relationships.
Yeah, but written characters are generally more romantic than real characters. But just saying.
Well, sometimes it's very, very good writing and reality based, and not the same kind of, hyper romantic stuff that is really not based in reality most of the time. But I think what I've learned from you is when you talk to me about your relationship with your husband, there are certain things you say about that, and I won't say what, but I've applied. It's not that's a big secret.
I know. I'm just joking.
But I've applied some of those at home because I think I'm kind of like Michael in some of those ways, and maybe I should. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know how that happened to me. Double trouble.
So I just I try to be a better person.
Yeah.
In certain ways.
Yeah. I will tell you, this is kind of not really related exactly, but what Stephen's really great at is keeping the history of these characters, and like he always tells the prop people, make sure they're yellow roses, make sure they're this or that. No, that's very good, because people wouldn't pay attention to that.
Well, these days they're moving. They're all working so fast. These things are not thought of a lot of the times, and it really is our responsibility to keep those things on track.
Yeah.
So,
right.
What are you most looking forward to in this upcoming year?
Well, for me personally, my daughter's getting married and my son's having a baby, so it's a very good
like that
year.
question.
Is a good year.
Yeah.
I have to say, and here on my 50-plus mini Años birthday, I think it's such a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time, just the whole cycle of life. I don't want to be all haggard in the old folks' home, but I don't want to rush to that, but I just think it's the greatest.
You don't have the grandbabiys yet.
So I can't wait. It's most fabulous, right?
Yeah, it's the best time. One of the best times in my life.
Yeah.
Is now.
For sure.
Little boys.
So everybody who moans and groans about aging, I think it just gets better and better.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
And us, we get better.
Yeah.
Oh, when you were talking about what's romantic, for my, I know I seriously love with my husband. I love in the morning when we come out of bed. I don't brush my hair, wash my face, brush my teeth. I don't do anything in the morning. I just gotta come on down, get my coffee, whatever. I love us sitting at our kitchen table, which we do every single morning with the paper, and we're all craggly, with our glasses. I love that time. To me, that is love.
Yeah.
That is true love, when you can sit looking like that and know that this person's crazy about you.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
And we see each other like that, too.
Sure.
It's funny when somebody says something about a woman being out with curlers or something, I think it's so funny, because on this show, like, guys and girls go to lunch together or whatever, and the girls will be sitting there in curlers. Nobody here thinks it's unusual to be doing something like that, right? So we toughen these guys up to see what it's really about. Oh, gosh, there's more. If you had the chance to go help in another country for a little while, would you and where would you want to go? And if you could take a team with you, who would you take?
Well, I go to Syria, and I would take Dr. Johnson with me to help some of these.
God.
No, joking aside,
No.
I've been seeing these images of all of these children. They're bombing the holy hell out of these poor people. And it's children. Every day, children are dying and injured, and I've seen images of them in the hospitals with the tubes and the shrapnel and the missing limbs. These are tiny, tiny little people. How in God's name can somebody sanction this kind of violence and horror? I would go there if I had a way to do it, and I had some skill that is needed there. I would go in a heartbeat.
Right. I've often told my friends, like I have a friend who's my age and single, and I just said to her, I go, if I were you, and if I could afford to do it somehow, I would join the Peace Corps and go work in an orphanage somewhere with little babies and do whatever for a little while.
Well, you've done some of this work with kids with your...
Yeah, but I think I'd go, if you're saying we could go to the country, do whatever I
yeah,
could.
yeah.
My daughter's done a couple, maybe 5 dental brigades where they, her college they pack up this crazy thing of, and even like shop vacs is their thing that they use for suctions or whatever. It's
Wow.
crazy, yeah. And they go to, you know, Cambodia, or they go to underserved places, and they set up these dental clinics, and it's really amazing. It's an amazing thing, and I keep thinking I'll go with her sometime and pass out toothbrushes or something, but it's just a cool thing to give back. And I mean, you don't even need to go anywhere because it's right in your own town. I mean, you know.
Because
so
your
bad.
girl's an orthodontist.
She's on her way.
Yeah.
But she's done a lot here in the Skid Row Clinic in downtown LA too. And I mean, there's need everywhere. You just got to jump in. Okay.
By the way, I did see some of Katie's wedding gowns that she tried on.
Oh yeah.
Just beautiful.
I know.
You
Beautiful.
sitting there with taking the pictures.
I know. It's so cute,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's the
What a
best.
beautiful time. Beautiful time. And my attitude is like, you do what you want, and I will give you my opinion. But I don't want it to be like I am driving the show. I don't want it to. It's not my wedding. I want it to be hers. And I've always tried to pride myself and to not be judgmental, and to just, you know. But I told her we're keeping it classy. Nothing kitschy.
What advice would your current self give your early 20-something-year-old self?
There's too many woods in there, but.
I would say, don't waste time.
Mm-hmm.
It goes way too fast.
And you know what? When you're in it, like I remember when I had little kids and people said that all the time. You're like, holy cow, and you don't believe it, but it is the truth.
Yeah, and I look back, there was a time when I was going to do this thing,
Yeah.
and if I had done it then, I would be so much further along in that particular.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't think that way. I always tell my husband, there's like no room in life for regrets. I don't have
See?
regrets. I don't care.
I'm learning
no,
every day.
I don't. And if he ever says that, I always just say, And if he says, if he even said someone had something, I'd be like, I do not envy somebody. I'm not jealous of what someone else has. I'm not, I really just want to propel forward, move myself forward. And I think it's funny because people say, oh, like when you're in your 50s or older, and then you got people will say, like, I don't care anymore, just like, forget it, I'm going to say what I want. Well, there's a limit on that. Like, my mom was living in a senior thing, and she was arguing with some neighbor about the roses. Like, you don't need to get that person. You don't need to get, like, bitchy. But I think in a very subliminal way, when you get older, you just, a different kind of confidence comes about you. Like, quietly, you don't even know it happened, you know?
Well, you start to see what's really important.
Yeah.
And you live according to those
Right.
things.
But I think, even early on, like, I know people, actresses, who don't get pregnant, don't have kids because they don't want to mess with their career. They're I'm building my career, I can't have kids right now, or that never entered my mind. And on the show, they had a baby shower for me, I think, with my first child, and there were like 10 women in the baby shower. Not one of them had had a baby. And I thought, it just never occurred to me to not have kids when I wanted them, whatever my career. And my daughter's in that kind of situation now too, because she's in school. So, does she just have them, or does she wait till she's done? Or, anyway, I don't know where I got off on this tangent about what I was talking about exactly, but.
What would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh, so, just to have that confidence of now, just to be that sort of subtle confidence. I think there's more insecurities when you're younger, unfortunately, and you second guess yourself more.
Right.
Which is kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in the moment.
That's the hardest thing to do. In yoga, they say the hardest thing to do is to sit still.
Yes. Keep your mind still.
Exactly.
Is the hardest thing.
Right. Well, you were almost a monk, so you know about that. Do any of your friends and/or relatives tune into Days? If so, what do you think of the? What do they think of the show? Is Days or you as an actress, celebrities in general, ever brought up in a family get-togethers?
Well, my mother is the worst offender in that case, because no matter where we go, when I go visit her, no matter where we go, she will inevitably say, do you know who this is? This is my son. He is Stephen Nichols. He plays Patch on Days of Our Lives. And he was on Young and the Restless and Gentleman. She just will
And
not
you're
stop.
kinda like,
She will not stop. I kind of expect it now, so I just don't.
My mom, we would be out to like lunch
But she's proud, you know.
Right,
this
they're
is her,
proud, and you understand that.
It's really one of the things that she has in her life.
Right.
Because she,
Right.
other than that, she has not much of a life. I mean,
Right.
she's just
Right.
kind of
Getting
lonesome.
older.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say two things about this. My mom doesn't say we'd be out to lunch, and say that you're in one of those booths where there's like barely a little space between the next table or whatever, and she'd go, "When do you need to be at the studio tomorrow?" Like that kind of thing, you know. God bless her. But I will tell you, and I think this is super cool, is so now that she's older and she does watch the show religiously, and I call her all the time, and then she always is asking me story points about the show, or do you think such and such a... I mean, what's happening now after the Sammy, Rafe, Hope thing, and then she says to me, do you think that Hope's going to forgive him? Do you think she's going to take him back? Because I think she should. I go, you think she should? Yeah. And she always says, I love Will. I just love that guy.